I'd like to screen share at this moment so that you can see what I am talking about and what you can do to live a longer, better quality life free of degenerative diseases. Here we go. Actually, it's this one I'll share, I guess. Let's see if it comes up. Hopefully you can all see that clearly. This is the current cover of the ebook, Disease Hacking. I did want to make one correction. My postgraduate work at Loma University was in health science, pursuing my master's leading to my doctorate. And all the other information was absolutely correct. It was at that time that I was invited by Nathan Pritikin and Monsieur Massey, who was the director of UC Riverside Public Health, to come to the Pritikin Longevity Center and do work directly. And I took my education on hiatus. Imagine at that time when I was only 21 years old and I had suffered a stroke, and I saw on 60 Minutes, my 3 patients. I have that original clip on my website. When you go to nickdelgado.com and you click through for the videos at YouTube, you'll see, if you search through the 1,000 videos, my 3 patients, where Nathan Pritikin was about to be destroyed by 60 Minutes, and they thought they would expose him as a fraud, because who in the world could reverse heart disease in only 1 month through diet, exercise, and stress management? To their shock and amazement, Nathan Pritikin himself presented a very small portion of that talk, but they followed through 2 cardiologists from the Miami Heart Institute, these 3 patients. They did their baselines for lab work, cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, LDL, which, by the way, I'm going to reveal my current lab levels as of this last month of 2022, coming out here, to show you how I've been able to maintain optimum lipid levels with actually extraordinary hormone and testosterone levels, something that the plant-based community is very confused about, particularly when it comes to IGF and testosterone and estrogen and some other factors. We're going to get into all of that. But I will tell you that that clip on 60 Minutes, which I'm the sole caretaker of that on our website, which we're uploading to fromthedoctors.com/Pritikin, you will see why I was so excited when I saw that there was a solution for me, even though I suffered from high blood pressure during my entire high school years for at least 4 years on blood pressure medications. I struggled with cardiovascular disease. I almost died from that TIA, but fortunately, I got the book recommended when I searched out 60 Minutes, Live Longer Now, by Nathan Pritikin and Hoffer and Leonard. I read that book. I applied the principles, and within 6 months, I reduced 50 pounds and achieved my ideal body weight. For me, when I found out that Nathan Pritikin, although I had set up for my physical therapy work in Temple City, California, to do nutritional counseling, that he was going to be in person and present. Well, he showed up and presented for 6 hours. And at the end, I stood in line to get his autograph and talk to him and show my before-after pictures of what his program had done to transform my life. And he was so impressed. He invited me to come work with the Nathan Pritikin at the Pritikin Longevity Center. Fast forward a number of years, 29 years. My son was born 29 years ago, that is. And when his mother, my wife at that time, gave birth, she had a hyperthyroid condition, an autoimmune disease that I now look back and realize it was from endocrine disruptors. 10 days after my son was born, I got a call from Hoag Hospital, and Shelley's mother, she had passed away just days after my son was born. This was traumatic for me. I realized that plant-based living was important, but not enough. And I realized there was this huge void about hormone and science regarding hormone therapy and how to balance our hormones and how to prevent our hormones from being disrupted. It was from that work I moved forward and continued to do science and research and try and discover what were the missing links, not only to premature death and disease and hormonal imbalances, but the true secrets of life and longevity. And it was over that period during the last 29 years that I've been formulating and creating the very book that we're making available, Disease Hacking, ultimately and arguably the best book I've ever written besides my book, Grow Young and Slim, Blood Doesn't Lie, Acne Be Gone for Good. Oh yes, acne. I discovered a solution for acne and co-wrote a book with Dr. Sonia Batterisi-Banasel, board certified dermatologist. Fortunately, most all of my activities in science and research is funded because of the sales of the products of my discovery, how a dim extract in cruciferous vegetable capsules could reverse and prevent acne from developing, and in most cases, bring it to normalcy. And particularly when I encourage my clients to clean up their diet and exercise and follow the 7 pillars of health, but many young people aren't ready to change their diet, but they still got fabulous results. So it's with that understanding, I mentioned the correction. After Shelley died, I decided to go back to university. I did not go back to Loma Linda, although I'd completed all my postgraduate studies. I had not finished my PhD thesis. I had some more coursework to finish, and I decided to go to a complementary medicine, holistic nutritional university that allowed me to do independent research and complete a massive study where I had access to Nathan Pritikin's original work and read about Dr. James Anderson. And it was from that work of Dr. James Anderson that I realized that there was something very serious. And that was, what do we do about putting people on a plant-based, oil-free, sugar-free diet? Now, you have to understand, the plant-based community is new to most of the United States and the world, but oil-free, sugar-free is starting to catch on momentum because the core plant-based doctors know that you cannot have processed sugars and excess fats, oils. Now, I then presented this to the famous Tony Robbins, and he invited me after looking, as I looked at his blood under a high-powered microscope, after 4 hours of examining people that he presented before me, he asked me, can you do and test a lot of people? And I'm thinking, oh, sure, 5 or 10 or 20 people. And then he said, no, we have Master University coming up. There'll be 1,000 people, and you'll have access to 600 people to be able to test before and after in 9 days. And I leaned forward to Tony Robbins. I said, yes, I can do it. Thinking to myself, it's impossible. No one can test 600 people in 3 days with a finger stick. And I discovered a way by hiring a group of over 10 technicians, and we set it up in an assembly line, and we checked with a cholestech machine. And at that time, it had a different name for the quick check cholesterol machine. But we were able to check everyone's blood and show them under a high-powered microscope exactly what their blood looked like. And to my excitement, although I looked at a study with only 10 people and knew of the research of Pritikin and the work at the Longevity Center, I purported that in only 9 days, which was the length of that event, we could reduce cholesterol and triglycerides significantly. And to my excitement, and even to my concern, because I didn't know if we could do it that quick, because the Pritikin Longevity Center was a 30-day program. This was only 9 days. Well, guess what? In 9 days, after being given this exact cookbook, which is available, probably some used copies on Amazon. At our office, we have several copies. I'd be happy to send an autographed version. But I'm going to tell you how to look great and feel sexy, revitalize your energy in 9 days, over 600 recipes. Tony Robbins himself gave this to his chefs at the hotel. They prepared the foods buffet style, and nearly 1,000 people all ate the foods. And at the end of 9 days, after we tested everyone upon the beginning and the end, the average person reduced their triglycerides over 42%. Those that were the highest came down the best, from 600 down to 150. The people who had high cholesterol, those who were the highest, came down the most. And we reduced cholesterol on average of 30% from 293 down to 200. This, folks, is as good or better than the leading statin drugs on the market. How could that be? How could a diet be so powerful, oil-free, sugar-free, plant-based, whole food? And I explained that in this book, and this book is still accurate to this day. I even identify which recipes are for weight loss, more rapid weight loss, because so many people are struggling with obesity. I explained the chapter on protein and how to shrink the fat cells, all of this and more. So Tony Robbins came out with a book called Life Force, and it's how new breakthroughs in precision medicine can transform the quality of your life. My plan was to eclipse his book with my new book, Disease Hacking, which mine's been 12 years in the making, because I did work with Tony Robbins for more than a couple years right alongside him. And so I know what it's going to take to transform and change your life.